and thank you for joining us. This is the second session of our new series of short online academy conversations, where we introduce you to our tutors who are industry and academic experts, and they bring real-world insights into the learning experience at ICS. The purpose of these sessions is to give you a genuine and personal feel of what studying with ICS looks like and how accessible, flexible learning can support professionals from whatever background they might have at different stages of their career. Just to remind all of us that ICS has been educating and equipping shipping professionals for more than a century, and the Online Academy builds on that legacy, but in a modern way that fits around today's work and life realities. As I said before, we encourage you to add your questions and thoughts in the chat. We're going to do our best to answer as many of them before the end of the webinar. And before we go, I will also add a little poll, and it will be visible on your screen for you to fill in. It's just 3 questions. It's basically an opportunity for us to get your feedback and your thoughts around how you enjoyed the webinar and what else you would like to see from us. For those who don't know me yet, I'm Nasia, and I'm the Head of Education and Training at ICS. I work closely with our tutors and global branches to develop accessible and high-quality learning pathways for the next generation of our shipping professionals. And today, you might have already noticed from a smile, I'm really delighted to be joined by Dr. Jae Sundaram. Jae, I'm going to be honest, is one of my favorite tutors. We have spent hours talking about education, and his commitment to ICS students is something that makes us feel so warm in our hearts. Jae is a reader in the trade and maritime law at the University of Buckingham and a dual qualified trade and maritime lawyer. He has spent several years in the legal practice, and then he moved into academia, where he teaches at undergraduate and postgraduate level and supervises doctoral research. But many of you will know him from the ICS handbooks. He has written the ICS Shipping Law Handbook, and he currently revises the legal principles in shipping business. Today, Jae and I will be talking about the learning experience in the Online Academy, using marine insurance, his subject, as a starting point. We will talk about why it matters, who studies it, and how professionals engage with legal subjects through flexible online learning. Jae, this is the time for me to stop talking. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Nasia. You said so many things about me, which I'm not too sure I deserve, because you said I always think that I trouble people by putting questions to them or requests to them, but you've been very kind. Yes, some of them are correct. I am a dual qualified lawyer, and I am into teaching and research, and I'm really, really, really happy that I'm part of the ICS team for 2 reasons. One is it's care for its students, number one. Although we may not see them face to face, the amount of care, the amount of time that is spent to care for them, for their needs, to ensure a smooth transition is something amazing. I got to say, I've been with ICS for the past 2 decades, and I feel very, very proud that I'm part of the team there in ICS. That's what I wanted to say first. And thank you for everyone to be able to come and participate in this webinar. Over to you.
Well, we are proud to have you, Jae, in the ICS family and today. And I will start with the questions I always ask our tutors. Jae, you teach a very diverse group of learners. So what makes me wonder is, what types of students typically join your courses? What do they gain out of them? And do many of them come from non-shipping backgrounds, or they all have a shipping background? And if so, how do they adapt?
Oh, that's a very pertinent question, actually. I got to say that, because the students who come on board to take this course are slightly a mixed bag, but predominantly they come from a shipping background, but not necessarily having anything to do with marine insurance. That is the fundamental reason why they come along, because we all know that anybody who is there with ICS and been dabbling in all these subjects will understand one thing. shipping is derived demand. So trade is the fundamental thing, and from there comes shipping. So in the absence of trade, there is no shipping. Likewise, in the absence of insurance, there is no trade, which means you got to come back here. So that is one of the reasons why they seek out ICS to gain a good knowledge of marine insurance and then develop from there. And another reason they come forward is that they're looking for a promotion. They're trying to go vertically upwards, the vertical progression within their environment, and they try to see what could help them, what could equip them to achieve those goals. One of the best things is to get into grips with something, a core subject like shipping or marine insurance. Marine insurance is something they take immediately because that is going to be helping them all the way through. That is the reason they come. But predominantly from a shipping background, they gain a lot. And to be honest, they throw me very difficult questions during lectures. Not to
Oh,
forget.
that's good. We want that. Well, Jay, I'm hearing you talking about the students, and that actually gives me a great segue to the second question that I had here on my notes. Because hearing you talking makes me understand that marine insurance is not just a complex topic, but it's also a very essential one, right? And you partially answered already, but I would like you to elaborate with us on why do you think it's such an important subject for professionals who want to progress within the shipping industry?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that question. Again, you're throwing very relevant questions at me, and you are engaging me on the right note there. Marine insurance is absolutely essential. In the absence of insurance, or in the absence of insuring your cargo, it can't be transported. If there is no transportation, there is no shipping. And then you may ask the question, Jay, does it also apply to ships? Yes. Without insurance, nobody can sail the vessel into sea. And not stopping there, insurance can be traced. When I say insurance, I mean any type of insurance can be traced back to the late 18th century when people sat around a coffee table in the Lloyd's coffee shop in London and decided to start underwriting risks. We may have insurance for so many things today, our car, our mobile phones, our motorbikes, our legs. Say, ask a footballer, they will say, yeah, my right foot and my left foot are being insured. And so will what do you call a Hollywood actor. But all this started in a coffee shop in London when they sat to discuss the risks that a vessel is exposed to when it sets sail into the open sea for trade. Then they had nothing. And that's where the notion of insurance started. That's where it's built. Now, if you look at this, unless and until someone has a grasp of marine insurance, it may not be possible for them to actually understand what exactly is shipping business. On the surface, you may be happy to say, yeah, I'm a dry cargo broker. Fine. I do dry cargo. Okay. I do shipping law. Fine. But in the absence of insurance, the notion of indemnity, it is very hard to grasp shipping per se, but it opens up a completely different world, a much wider picture
Yeah,
is
yeah.
available once you get into this. That's how important it is. It is a cornerstone. It may not be an exaggeration. It is a cornerstone of shipping. That's how I will sum it up.
No, absolutely. And what I love about your input here, Jay, is that you actually give us real life examples and the history, the background of the importance around marine insurance, and that's great. But that takes me to your teaching method and your teaching value, which I can guarantee it's very high and everybody already knows. So that makes me think that listening to you and to your background, I can see that you can teach and you do teach in both traditional and online settings. And because I always think of the learner's experience, and I know that you're one of those tutors who value learning experience a lot, I want to ask you what do you find valuable about teaching online? Does it change the way students engage with you if you compare it to the classroom environment? And what is your secret ingredient in your teaching methods? The real life examples, perhaps? Your knowledge? What could that be?
That's a very, very tricky question. I wouldn't say that. That was an exaggeration. I'll tell you what exactly the idea is here. If you look at teaching itself, if you put the student at the center of the teaching agenda, then you will realize learning experience matters to a teacher. When you actually take a backseat, that is myself as a teacher, do not teach. I put the learning experience of the student at the center of the entire activity. So my objective is to give the students a very good learning experience. If you put it that way, everything changes. You stop being a lecturer. You become a facilitator in their learning process. If you bring that agenda into the picture, it is only their objective, their end game that matters to me. Then you become a facilitator and open up the doors for them to learn in a very, very positive environment. Now, coming to online environment, you may ask the question, Jay, how does this differ from a face-to-face classroom teaching? In some senses, it differs. In some senses, it does not differ. Say, for instance, if you're not present in a face-to-face learning experience, say, for instance, in a lecture room, you're gone. You don't have the opportunity. If you're present, you get it. If you're not present, you don't get it. But there will be a lot of shortcomings there. But in an online environment, there is a flexibility. You may not be able to physically be present here with me, but you can hook up from Zimbabwe, from Spain, from Ireland, from anywhere you choose to, from Turkey, from any part of the world. I counted 82 or 81 now. So I'm guessing at least there would be about 12 to 15 different jurisdictions people are coming from. It is not possible for them to be physically present in a classroom. That has now been, how to say, addressed properly, and it has been completely changed with the introduction of an online thing. But what sets the online environment of ICS from the rest? We are looking at being real facilitators in the learning process. So we add a few more extras because this is not how I teach in a university, online university. I teach differently. Here, I make sure I teach and it is recorded and it is put online. Supposing, say, John Doe is absent today because he had to travel to another jurisdiction for an urgent meeting and he's not able to attend, what can he do? ICS tells him, look, don't worry. The recording is online. It's available for you to access right through this period of your exam. You can access it and learn from there. Not stopping there. I'm also saying, look, learning is a two-way process. I speak to you, I present, you can also put questions to me. I give you space for you to put questions to me. It's a two-way ticket with me. That's number one. Number two, the second one is important. I also want to test your understanding of the topic that we discussed today. So I'm setting you an assignment. Go do that. Use all the resources I identified. Come back to me with your answer. I give you feedback. In the absence of feedback, you will not know whether you're progressing or regressing. So that is the online environment which you're talking about, which is much, much, much better than any other open university or anything like that. We are very, very, very different. We have personal attention as well. So that helps to me. So that is the unique feature of this online academy that we have promoted in ICS. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much for saying that, Jay, because I can see our focus on supporting the learners who most of them or many of them are busy professionals, as you said. And that takes me to the thought around the lifestyle needs, the commitments. And speaking for myself, I'm also a professional and a student. So what I would like to ask at this point is that many of our online academy students, as we said, they are balancing work, family, studies, any kind of personal commitment and engagement. So from your experience, how does the online academy support these learners who are juggling these different commitments of theirs?
I would say, on the one hand, we reassure them that even if you miss a lecture, don't feel bad about it. We got everything covered. We have recorded the staff lecture and put it in there. And you might have missed out on putting a question to me during lectures. What do we do? I'm saying, I invite you to put your question to me. I will clarify that. Don't you worry. This is my assurance. This is ICS facilitating. As I mentioned, it's a two-way traffic. You keep your questions coming. I will explain to you. Because I have seen, for a classic example, because this was 3 years ago, there was a student from Italy. I could see that she was attending, but she was distracted a couple of times. It was a child who was coming in and trying to play and pull the camera or something like that. It was funny, but she didn't give up. She carried on. And that was commitment from her side. But she missed out on putting questions to me. Then later on, she apologized and sent an email. I said, don't have to apologize. I can fully understand. I too am a professional. You, despite all your commitments, have come on board this thing to learn something. Put your questions, send the questions. All right, I will clarify. That is how it works. And some may have exposure to marine insurance, some may not have anything at all, and they are seeking clarification. You need to pay attention and give them the support that is necessary. That's how I would put it. Well, there was another instance. This is 3 months ago before the exam started. Somebody had sent an email to the assessor saying, well, this is what the textbook says. Is this the position of GA? And I received an email from the assessor. I said, what the hell is happening? Assessor sends me an email about marine insurance. The textbook, handbook, okay, I got to clarify. I took some time, sent a detailed email to clarify. We need to. That is a commitment we have.
What I love is that I hear behind your words, I can hear the human touch, the human element, which is so important in ICS. And that takes me to my favorite question. I always keep it for the end. I want to finish on a more personal note. I want to see the person behind the tutor. So my question is, what's your favorite moment as a tutor? That kind of moment that reminds you, hey, this is why I'm teaching. This is why I'm here with ICS.
I will have to be very honest. There have been quite a few favorite moments. One was some time ago when one of the students was sat up there. This was a moment when nobody was there, just one student. I'm talking one-on-one, explaining stuff. Not many questions are there, but strong questions are there. And I had to explain it in detail. And they were not comfortable, not at all comfortable. It transpired they were very close to a war zone. Then I had to reassure them and I had to deviate from my plan for the day of teaching and I had to reassure them, well, all is going to be well, blah, blah, blah. I do not know how much of that sunk in, but that was a moment. And that really brought something else in me. I was not a tutor for a few minutes, but we are not required to be personal tutees or anything. But that moment, I was not a tutor. I forgot marine insurance and I had to reassure and listen to them very patiently and reassure them. And lo and behold, they sent me a thank you message the following day, which meant all was not so bad as they thought so. That is what it is. But I also have other experiences, but that's not with ICS, but still I got to mention this. I'll tell you what that was. Here is a student who came to me, this was about 9 or 10 years ago, seeking extension for a coursework. And I have to ask them why, what is the reason? And I knew from my secretary had already told me what exactly was the reason they're going to seek extension. They said, or rather my secretary said, this person has just realized that they are pregnant. They are seeking an extension. I thought this person was going to ask an extension for 3 weeks, but she fooled me. She said, I need an extension of 48 hours. I said, what? This is what I heard. I said, yep, 48 hours, because I'm ready. I'm not going to let all these things hinder my progress. There I changed my view. And I said, there is a human in everybody, but this person is balancing everything, her personal life, being a student, and also being a professional.
Yeah.
Everything.
It shows commitment.
Serious commitment. That is what it is. When you see that kind of a commitment, it changes you. It changes you completely. And I tend to learn a lot from them. That are inspirational. Some of the experience they present are inspirational. That is where I come to realize subject alone is not enough. You need to be a human. That is what is important.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very organic evolution of this kind of relationship, isn't it? As you said, you're not just a tutor, you're a human, and you share two stories with us, and both of them show the human element that justifies the importance of a good tutor, what makes a tutor good. And it also shows the commitment from the student side. And it's not that somebody needs extra time for the sake of getting extra time. There's almost always an actual reason behind the need. And I love it when I see tutors addressing that kind of need.
Yes.
And seeing things behind the surface, because that cultivates the relationship, that keeps them going, right?
True, true, true. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is what sets everything apart.
Thank you so much, Jay, for sharing with us your input, your experiences, your the examples from your teaching time. At this moment, I want to both invite you to share any questions if you do have, but I will also drop the poll that I mentioned before on the screen for you guys to share your feedback with us. Let us know if you can all see the poll on your screen. It includes 3
Yeah.
questions, and it's helpful and really, really valuable for you to fill in this poll for us. And while you do that, first, I want to thank you deeply for joining us, for spending these 30 minutes with us. We really hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. I'm pretty sure that Jay enjoyed it as much as I did. And I want to give you a little preview for the next session. Our next guest panel is something that you have asked us, and we listened. So next month, I will be meeting with the ICS education team, and we will discuss all about enrollments, exams, online learning experiences. So I invite you to prepare thoughts and questions for the next session and join us. So stay tuned on our LinkedIn page, where you will find the next invitation for the next session. I see people filling in the poll, so I will leave it for another 2-3 minutes. But while people fill in the poll, Jay, do you have anything last to share with us?
I have to say that I'm really, really looking forward to meeting with the professionals who happen to be students. And I see the numbers are very encouraging. Let me see how many of them are able to make it because they will have a very, very busy schedule. And I'll be very, very pleased to see good numbers there because that encourages me as well. I got to be very honest there. It is a big one.
Absolutely.
To see those numbers, I'm super impressed. I got to say, big thanks to you and as well as Emma for doing all these things. That is something extraordinary. And thank you for all the questions. I thought it'll be different, but your questions are, how to say, bang, like that on the target.
I'm
Thank you.
glad you enjoyed them. No, thank you for being with us. Thank you. Yeah. And I see that people are engaged. We had 100 people joining us. I see they do a bit of networking over the chat. And I see many of them filling in the poll, which is great. Guys, you have another 2 minutes before I stop the poll and the recording. Thank you all so much. I know I keep thanking you, but it's very important. Participation is really important for us, and it gives us feedback. It gives us a vibe. It also gives us motivation to continue and go on, as Jay mentioned before. Yeah.
Oh, I think Emma has put up her hand, I think.
Hello. So hi everyone. I'm Emma. I'm part of the ICS head office team, and I'm helping with the chat and the questions in the background. We've had a couple of really interesting question and answers, and I thought the first one actually it would be great to hear from you, Jay, of your own experience.
Yes.
Because this person, they've only recently discovered the maritime industry. They're very interested in joining that world, but they have had some other people been telling them that achieving MICS, so becoming a professional members with us, won't actually benefit them when they're trying to break into the industry. So from your experience as a fellow of the Institute, wanted to hear from you about how you value your ICS membership and if you have a different perspective on how that membership has helped you as you've, been in the industry for many years?
Oh, that's a very good one. Pertinent question, I would say, Emma. I think if you're a member, I would say that sets you apart from the rest of them. If you look at the landscape at the moment, there are a number of people who had been to sea wanting to migrate to a position, how to say, on land. So one of the things that stands out for those aspiring to come to land and how to say enter into the shipping industry is to get a membership. That how to say it is of enormous help. And to be part of the ICS, it's even bigger because it gives you the biggest opportunity to network, to be honest. And I don't think that can be questioned at all whatsoever. If someone has been saying it's not so important, they're misleading you. I would say, please do work towards a membership because membership can be obtained through various ways. One of them is through research and publication, and others are being participating in various other activities as well. So please don't shy away from gaining a membership with ICS. It is of paramount importance, I would say. It's very important for anybody, and for network purposes, absolutely important. Because I'm more an academic. I never been to sea. If I go to sea, it's during the what do you call my holidays when I try to do a bit of swimming. That's all. But the real sea is somebody who had been to sea, been on ships, and then try to come to land and take up positions there within shipping companies. For them, networking is the thing that they need. Number two is very good knowledge, because this is what would allow you to really mingle with them and network and gain an advantage. That's what I would say. Emma, does it make sense to you what I said?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Jay. It's really insightful hearing your perspective and the value that you placed on ICS membership. I think that's great to hear. We do have some other questions, but we have some of the themes of the questions is they want a bit more information about the academy. And one person has asked the difference between tutorship and online academy. Is that
Okay.
something that we can just provide a little bit of information for the
Yeah,
attendees today, please?
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Tutorship is something equally important, because tutorship would mean that you have the help of your handbook plus the help of the tutors knowledge as well. You periodically submit assignments to your tutor, and you get a detailed feedback on each and every question that has been posed in each assignment. And they give you as much support as possible, as much feedback as possible for you to improve. Normally, it's spread over a few months' time. Normally, students would take a 1 year or 8 months tutorship in the lead up to the exams. We shouldn't forget, these are individuals who have been to sea and they do have knowledge. And when they come on board and do the courses through tutorship, they have tremendous support with the tutors as well, plus the online mechanism through which they could submit all the assignments. They get that advantage as well. So that is very good, because in my view, I've been a tutorship tutor for both marine insurance and shipping law. And I can see some of them sitting mock exams as well towards the end of the assignment period. They will be set 10 assignments. Some choose to do all the 10, and some would choose only a handful or 6 or something like that. They would say, yeah, I'm comfortable with this topic, but I want you to test me on this particular topic. Can I submit an assignment? And when they submit an assignment, I'll give them a detailed feedback on where they are strong, what is good, and what is a little bit weak, and where they should be focusing on improving. All these things feed in, and they are able to take the exams finally, and they come back to me and said, well, they've done well. The most important thing there with tutorship is you are encouraged not to type, but present handwritten answers, which means you are to do it properly so that I know full well how difficult it is to sit. And towards the end, I also encourage them to do a couple of mock exams. The mock exams are almost like exams. You're required to switch off your phone, lock your room, sit in an office, close it for 3 hours, no distraction, no disturbance from anybody. Sit tight. Imagine that you are in an exam hall taking an exam. Within that thing, with those parameters in place, they are to take the exams and present me with answers. So you don't have access to any of your learning resources. Be mindful of that. Well, I've locked my room. I've switched off my phone. I still got my book. Now, that is not a mock exam. So that is not allowed. If you do that and present me with that answer, I will be able to do that, guide you through. So all these things takes place with tutorship. I can guarantee everybody follows this pattern. They're good. They're good. It's very good. It's helpful, tremendously helpful.
Thank you, Jay. We do just let us know that we are over time, but that actually shows how much you guys are enjoying this, because I can see that we still have 85 people in the webinar, and there are a couple of questions around registration and membership inquiries. For this type of questions, I do encourage you to visit our website, which is ics.org.uk, but also reach out to us. Our education team and our membership team are always happy to answer any kind of questions around these topics. At this point, I really, really want to thank you once more for this really engaging conversation, the inputs and the information you shared with people. You can see from the engagement of the chat that everybody enjoyed it. I want to thank Emma, our marketing wizard. I keep calling her like that, but it's amazing to have her with us. She's been moderating the chat and the webinar. So, and she's also sharing ICS news over our LinkedIn page. So please stay tuned. As I said, more is coming. At this point, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'm sure I will see you again in a month. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you to Emma and to Nasya and all the attendees today. Wonderful.
Okay.